are some words from Bishop Spong that I was immediately able to relate to. Copernicus and Galileo had expanded our understanding of the universe enormously, making irrelevant so much of the Bible that assumed that the earth was the center of a three-tiered universe, that is, heaven, earth, and hell. Sir Isaac Newton had determined that this world operated according to fixed mathematical laws, which made the miracles and magic with which the Bible was filled no longer viable. Charles Darwin had changed our whole understanding of the origins of life. If Darwin was correct, and that is not debatable, then there was no such thing as a state of original perfection from which any of us could fall into what the church loved to call original sin, quote unquote. Life had rather evolved over billions of years from a single cell into self-conscious complexity. With no fall, there was no need for a savior to rescue us from a fall that never happened. So the way we had all learned over the centuries to tell the quote-unquote Jesus story fell into being pious nonsense. No one can be saved from a fall that has never happened, nor can one be restored to a status one has never possessed. Great answer for anyone who ever tells you that you need to be saved. In the Missouri Synod Lutheran Church, where I was sent on Sunday mornings as a child, I drove my Sunday school teachers crazy by questioning everything they told me that didn't make sense, and that was a lot. In case you don't know, the Missouri Synod is one of the more fundamentalist divisions of the Lutheran Church. As I grew up, I found ever wider discrepancies between the provable science I learned in school and what that church had tried to teach me. I also had a problem with the word God, and I have to admit that I still do to some extent. I love the Cat Faber song the first time I heard it because it recognizes, as Bishop Spong has said, that no human being can truly define God. And talking about whether modern Christian seminaries actually prepare students for religion in the 21st century, Bishop Spong talked about the way I was taught to think of God as a child. It is a matter of God being defined in theistic terms when only people inside religious ghettos still think of God this way. By theistic terms, I mean the definition of God as a being, supernatural in power, dwelling somewhere external to this world, usually thought of as above the sky, and capable of intervening in human history in supernatural ways to answer prayers or to accomplish the divine purpose. That is the primary understanding of the God who is worshipped in most seminary chapels and parish churches. It permeates our liturgies, our hymns, our prayers, and our sermons. Indeed, in some services, it is so stifling that one leaves worship tied up in knots. This is the all-seeing God of judgment, before whom we kneel and beg for mercy, a God frequently confused with Santa Claus, who is making a list and checking it twice. I think this theistic definition of God died over the last 500 years of expanded knowledge, yet it still lives in the imaginations of the traditionally religious. Because of the presence in my early religious life of this way of seeing God, using the word God is still not easy for me. I prefer to say the deity, the divine, the great whatever, or simply the word love with a capital L, to distinguish it from romantic infatuation. And maybe that's okay. No matter what we call it by, the essence is the same.
A lot of places to sing on this song.
Yep.
There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone, and I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone. And you won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't feel the flowing of the time when I'm gone. All the pleasures of love will not be mine when I'm gone. My pen won't pour a lyric line when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't breathe the bracing air when I'm gone. And I can't even worry about my cares when I'm gone. Won't be asked to do my share when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't be running from the rain when I'm gone. And I can't even suffer from the pain when I'm gone. Can't say who's to praise and who's to blame when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. Won't see the golden of the suns when I'm gone. And the evenings and the mornings will be one when I'm gone. Can't be singing louder than the guns while I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. All my days won't be dances of delight when I'm gone. And the sands will be shifting from my sight when I'm gone. Can't add my name into the fight while I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't be laughing at the lies when I'm gone. And I can't question how or when or why when I'm gone. Can't live proud enough to die when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone. You won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it. I guess I'll have to do it. Guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. I decided to use this quote from Bishop Spong for my comments. In my opinion, in quotes, in my opinion, the pathway into divinity comes in being fully human, that is, in understanding that God and human life are not two separate categories, but the divine is the ultimate and deep dimension of the human, and that the pathway into the divine is found when each of us becomes deeply and fully human. My friend, the folk singer Art Thiem, now no longer with us, was culturally Jewish and married to a Jehovah's Witness. Art himself was agnostic. I believe that Carol, his spouse, converted after they were married. Once Art remarked that he was impressed by how the Jehovah's Witnesses helped other church members. When his wife was recovering from surgery, someone was always dropping off dinner. But he would add that that faith did not deal with the questions he had, nor did they have any answers. That was one of the reasons I didn't stay with the Lutheran church after high school. When I was in college my freshman year, I had a friend who was part of a Speaking in Tongues Christian group. He took me to some meetings because I played guitar. After their meetings, he'd ask me to sing something. Once I picked Bob Dylan's song With God on Our Side, a song about the way religion has been used in this country to justify all sorts of horror, including war and genocide. I didn't get banished, though at one point he asked why I didn't sing some overtly Christian songs. That led me to the thought that any song sung well was a praise to the deity. In the Luther League in high school, I thought a lot of the folky church-based songs were kind of lame. When I first heard Cat Faber's song, I thought that's a song that makes sense. Getting back to the Bishop Spong statement, I don't see a need for a dualistic approach to the human and divine experience. One of my fundamentalist cousins once offered the statement while I was driving her to the store that she was amazed by how the imagination of God could think of all the wonders of the world, how each species of tree had an amazing leaf design, different from the others. She said, "Can you imagine the complexity of a mind that could make all that?" I was thinking that's almost an animistic or pagan approach to the world. Well, I think my cousin, who has since passed away, was concerned about my immortal soul. She asked me at my mom's funeral in 2015, "You do know you're going to see your mom and dad again?" I told her I was sure I would. She did not try to be judgmental. The whole old notion of holy and secular should not be an either-or proposition, I think. We can only visualize our thoughts by our own limited perception of what we see and otherwise experience. If anyone had told me right after I left college that I would be spending a Saturday night in Marquette going to hear a lecture on the Gospel of John by an Episcopal bishop, I would have said, "I don't think so." Yet I did. Susan and our friend Barb did not drag me there kicking and screaming. I was thinking how my late liberal Christian father would have loved the talk and the question and answer period. He was thoughtful and was trying to get the Chicago area Lutherans more involved in the peace and social justice movements. He would have found the talk inspiring.
And yes, that was quite an evening. It was a revelation to me to learn that the material in the New Testament was written for Jewish people who would have known that those were stories and were not to be taken literally. A quote from Bishop Spong in one of the emails appeals to me very much. "I do not want to remove the content of Christianity, but I do want to counter the literalized and therefore distorted aspects of that content, for that is what, I believe, is today causing the decline and death of Christianity. Only when these literalized aspects of the Christian story are removed can the essence of Christianity live in the 21st century. Jesus reveals the God of life, calling us to live, the God of love, freeing us to love, and the ground of being, giving us the courage to be all that we can be. That is what Christianity is about." Now that is very different from what they tried to teach me in that Lutheran Sunday school. As enjoyable as was the lecture part of that Saturday evening when Bishop Spong spoke in Marquette, to me, the best part was during the question and answer session, when a woman asked how Bishop Spong had found his way to oneness with God. That is not word for word what she asked, but close enough to give you the idea. I'm not sure what I expected to hear, maybe something about prayer, meditation, Bible study, but that is not at all what he said. Instead, the bishop spoke for some minutes on how, over the span of his long life, he had overcome racism, misogyny, and homophobia in his own mind and heart, and then proceeded to work to eliminate them in the Episcopal Church. By the way, I have since found out that Bishop Spong, to use his words, ordained the Reverend Robert Williams to the priesthood of my church. He was the first openly gay man living in a publicly acknowledged and committed partnership ever to be ordained in the Episcopal Church or the Anglican Communion. That was in 1989, so that's been a while. Now, this really got me to thinking about connecting with the divine through service to humanity. Talk about a radical idea. I've been part of some UU churches where lay people presented services on social action, and some in the congregation objected to them, saying that social action wasn't spiritual. And yes, I know people in church don't want to be self-righteously bullied or guilt-tripped on social action issues from the pulpit, but someone talking about how their social action activities have enriched their lives and the lives of others is quite a different matter. Bishop Spong has said, living fully, loving wastefully, and being all that we can be is my definition of seeing the presence of God in human life. Here is one last quote from him. Is there such a thing as God's plan? I don't think so. What I believe is that every moment of life is filled with choice and meaning. If we choose life over death, love over hatred, peace over war, reconciliation over hurt, and acceptance over prejudice often enough and long enough, then meaning emerges and our lives are transfigured. God, I believe, is in that memory and in that transformation. Amen. And also, blessed be.